Hello students, how are you all? I hope you are doing well. So today we are back again with the part 8 of chapter 5. So to our previous sessions we have seen how control and coordination is occurring in animals, that is mainly in human beings. So we have seen that there will be a nervous system which will control and coordinate our body movements or how we respond to certain stimulus, and also we have seen that it is not only the nervous system, the three different types of nervous systems we have seen. It is not only those three of them, but even we have the chemical coordinators in our body which are called as what? They are called as hormones. So we have seen that even hormones play a very important role in controlling and coordinating the movements of our body. So if we are giving a response to a stimulus, we should understand that it is not only because of the reaction between your brain, spinal cord or various nerves arising from your body, but it is due to even the hormones which are produced in adequate amounts so that we tend to grow and respond to certain stimulus. So this was what we have dealt till our previous sessions. So now we should even know the very important biotic factor in the environment. Those are the plants. So we have seen animals show coordination. They are showing responses. Okay, now the question arises that do plants coordinate? Do they show any response to certain stimulus? Okay, so this question should be answered. So what is our topic for today? We are starting the control mechanism in plants. How control and coordination is occurring in plants. Okay, so if any stimulus is given to plant, does it react properly? Okay, whenever we are getting any stimulus, as I have told you, we are reacting to such situations. So what happens when a plant is given proper stimulus? Okay, for plant, what may be the different stimulus, students? It may be touch. Okay, we go and touch the plants, it can be a stimulus. The light can be a stimulus, water can be a stimulus. Okay, then the humidity, the temperature, the rainfall. Okay, all these come under, and mainly the sunlight is an external stimulus for plants. So all these are the different kinds of stimulus which occur in plants or which can show responses to the external environment. So now it is high time to understand how plants respond to such stimulus. Okay, so we have seen that the plants are made up of a green color pigment called chlorophyll, and now when we are discussing about the coordination in plants, it would be very easy to understand how stimulus occurs in a plant called as mimosa. So you might have read in your lower classes that mimosa is a plant which is also called as touch me not plant. Okay, so if this is a leaf, it will have many leaflets, and what will happen when you touch the touch me not plant, children? You see that the leaves of touch me not plant will start curling. Okay, if you have ever touched it. So what can you expect from this? You have seen that whenever we give a stimulus, so what is the stimulus here? The touch of my hand. So whenever I go and touch that, we see that there will be the curling of leaves towards the inner side. So how is this happening? What is happening exactly inside the plant body that it has shown a response, that is curling of leaves? So we all know that the human body is equipped very well with the nervous system, yes or no, and also the hormones. So we know that the plants do not have any kind of nervous system unlike us. We have seen its body also is not so hierarchical level. It is not in such a hierarchical level that it does not have any nervous system to respond to such stimulus. But even then we have seen that whenever I have touched that plant, the leaves of mimosa are curling. It is showing a response. So how exactly is the mechanism inside plant? What are the things which are involved that a plant is able to give certain responses to the external stimulus which we are giving? So that question should be answered. So in plants we see that all the control mechanisms will occur through hormones. So we have seen that we have hormones in adequate quantities, such as we have the thyroxine hormone, yes or no? We have the pancreatic hormone, that is the insulin, which is controlling our blood sugar levels. We have various adrenaline hormones which are secreted by adrenal gland. Similarly, even in plants, we find different kinds of hormones secreted. So these hormones will majorly help the plant to show responses to the external stimulus such as light, sunlight. Okay, then we have water, we have wind blowing, we have raindrops falling, we have the touch of a human being. So all these are the external stimuluses given to the plant and how they are responding to such stimulus. So they are responding through what? All plants respond through the phytohormones. So all the hormones secreted in plants to show stimulus. Okay, so all the hormones secreted in plants to show stimulus is nothing but they are together called as the phytohormones. So we have seen that hormones in our body influence the control mechanisms. Yes or no? We are responding to certain stimulus. Similarly, these hormones in the body of plant, we see that they are secreted, they are generated in the plant body itself, and finally due to the secretions of these hormones, the plant is able to respond to certain stimulus. So we have got the answer that yes, control mechanisms, that is plants even can coordinate to the external stimulus given through what? Through hormones secreted. So what are the hormones secreted in plants, or what are the substances secreted in plants called as, which will influence the response to certain stimulus? They are called as phytohormones. Children, I hope you all are writing down whatever we are discussing. Please make a note of the running notes because it is a very important topic. Alright, then what are the hormones which are produced in plants called? They are called as phytohormones. So these phytohormones have one more name. They are also called as growth substances or growth hormones. What do you understand by growth substances or growth hormones? So we have seen that we have various hormones which may also influence the growth and development of the body. Similarly, these phytohormones also influence the growth in plants. Okay, there will be various kinds of phytohormones secreted in the plant body which not only respond to the stimulus which is given to the plant, but also they help in growth and development of the plant body. So now we will be discussing the various phytohormones in plants and how are they helping the plant in showing certain responses, or how they are helping in growth. Okay, so the two important functions of phytohormones is, first one, to respond to the external stimulus given through the environment. That is, what is the stimulus for the plant? It can be light, sunlight, water, humidity, rainfall, etc. And the second important point which you need to remember is phytohormones are also called as growth hormones because they influence the growth and development of the plant body. So there are various hormones secreted in plants. So the first hormone is auxins. So what are the different kinds of phytohormones in plants? Auxins, cytokinins. Okay, we have cytokinins, then we have gibberellins, then we have abscisic acid, okay, we have abscisic acid, and finally we have ethylene. So all these are the different kinds of hormones secreted in the plant body which have various functions and which may also influence the stimulus so that the plant body can respond to such stimuluses. So what are the different kinds of hormones secreted by the plant body? What are the different phytohormones? Auxins, cytokinins. Okay, then we have gibberellins, we have abscisic acid and ethylene. So these are the major phytohormones which influence the growth and development. Now let us go through it and understand the function of each of the phytohormone and how is it influencing a plant body. Okay, so children, we have seen that the plant produces different phytohormones which may influence the growth of plants and also they help in responding to certain stimuluses. So let us see what are the various functions of such phytohormones. So what is the first hormone which I have told you, which is seen in plants? That is auxins. So auxins help in cell elongation. So we see that the growth of plant, you see the height and length of the plant of the stem always grows laterally up. How is it growing? Because there will be auxins which are secreted inside the plant body, which will help in cell elongation in stem, so that you see that the length of the plant will grow. So due to cell elongation, the stem and the length of the plant can be increased. So what is the functions of auxins? It will help in cell elongation. Then cytokinins, cell division and opening of stomata. So we see that the stem also grows wider. Yes or no? So the widening of stem is due to the cell division. So the cells which are present at one place will start dividing rapidly. Okay, so it will divide in widthwise and finally the girth of the plant will be increased. Due to which hormone? Cytokinins, and also it will help in opening of stomata. Only opening of stomata is influenced by cytokinins. Then we have gibberellins, the germination of seed and stem elongation. So I have told you that cell elongation is due to auxins. You can see the stem is growing because the cells inside it are becoming larger. They are growing laterally upward. So due to gibberellins, we see that the stem will be elongated. So once the auxins activity and gibberellins activity is seen together in a plant, the cells also will elongate. Once the cells elongate, the stem also will elongate in its height. So gibberellins will help in germination of seed. So we see that from a small seed we get 2 leaflets. Yes or no? When you put a small seed in a potted plant, you see that 2 leaves will come out. So how did this seed germinate? Due to the presence of or due to the secretion of a phytohormone called as gibberellins. Then abscisic acid. Abscessus is nothing but the falling down. When you see the leaves of old plants, yes or no, it will become rotten, it will become black in color and they fall down. Why? Because of abscission. It is nothing but the leaves. You see that they become dry, they become black or brown in color and they fall off from the tree. So which hormone is influencing such activity in plants? Abscisic acid. So it will also help in closing of stomata. Opening of stomata is due to cytokinins. Closing of stomata is due to abscisic acid. And also it will help in aging of leaves, as I have told you. So once the leaves age, they become dry, they become old, they wilt off from the plant body. Why is such wilting seen? Due to abscisic acid. So when this abscisic acid quantity becomes more or it is produced during the plant old age, what will happen? The leaves will dry and they start wilting. Then we have ethylene. It will always help in ripening of fruit. So if you observe, during the summers, you see that the mangoes which are ripe, they put in ethylene or they add ethylene to it so that they become more yellow in color, they get ripened soon. So ethylene is a hormone, phytohormone, which will help in ripening of fruits. So these are the different functions of phytohormones. It is very, very important. What are the different kinds of phytohormones and their functions? Okay students, now these are the phytohormones which are influencing the growth as well as they are responding to certain stimulus in plants. So let us do a small activity and understand how. So we need to take a potted plant. Alright, then we need to sow a seed inside it. And after few days, you see that there will be 2 leaves coming out of this. So due to the presence of the activity of gibberellins, the germination of seed has occurred inside the potted plant in which we have put soil, and finally we see that 2 leaves come out of it. Yes or no children? So when these 2 leaves come out of it, we see that there will be growing of this stem in certain direction. Okay, so if this is the light, okay, so light rays are falling on the plant and finally the stem grows towards the light. So if light is falling like this laterally on the plant, we see that the stem also will grow towards the light. So phototrophism, we call this as phototropism. So what do you understand by the word phototropism? Phototropism is nothing but movement of organisms or response of plants towards light. Okay, so how is this plant responding towards light? So once the light rays are falling on the stem of a plant, the stem is growing towards light. And which part of the plant will grow away from light? You see that the roots will grow away from light. So this part of the plant which is growing and it is influenced by the light is called as positively phototropic. Okay, stem is for positively phototropic, means what? It is showing a positive response towards light. It is growing towards light. Even in nature you can see when you put a potted plant, the stem will grow long, yes or no, and when you put it to other side, you see that it will bend. Why? Because the sunrays are falling in that way. Okay, so we call this stem as positively phototropic because it is growing towards light, and we call the roots of a plant as negatively phototropic because it is growing away from light. It is towards the gravity. Okay, so positively phototropic tropism is seen by the plant stem, whereas negatively phototropic are the roots. Because they are not growing towards the light, they are growing away from the light. We are telling it as negatively phototropic. So what do you mean by phototropic? Photo is nothing but light. Okay, tropic is nothing but movement of a plant or response of a plant towards the intensity of light. So this is a small experiment we have seen and we have conducted, and we have seen that whenever the rays are falling on a plant, there will be a bending. For suppose now if the rays are falling from this side of a plant, what will happen? The plant will show this side. Suppose it is falling from this side, the plant will grow like this. Yes or no, children? Then if the plant is growing, if the light is falling like this, the stem will move towards this side. Okay, so we see that there will be a characteristic bending of the stem. Okay, so many scientists have not understood why such bending is occurring in such plants. So whenever you keep a potted plant, okay, this is a potted plant and the sun rays are falling like this. Okay, so you see that it will grow like this, the stem will grow like this, rather it will not grow like this. Okay, the sun rays are falling, okay, it is positively phototropic, but the stem will show characteristic bending. Why is this happening? So this question should be answered, and many of the scientists could not find out answers. So finally Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin. So Charles Darwin and Francis Darwin both were Hi sir. Start. So Charles Darwin and Francis Darwin were two important people who got answers for such questions. So what did they do in their experiment? They have conducted an experiment. They have taken a potted plant. All right. And they have taken this potted plant and they have covered the stem with a aluminium foil. So they have covered the tip of the stem, and this is called as coleoptile. So what is this part of the stem called as? It is called as coleoptile. So what did they do? They have covered that part with an aluminium foil. So after that, when they have put it under sun, they did not show any bending. This plant or the stem did not show any bending. But when it was exposed to sunlight, they saw that there was a characteristic bending of the stem. So they saw that the stem, it was like this, it was growing straight. They have covered it with a aluminium foil. But when they have covered, they did not see any reaction in the plant. It was as such. But when they have removed the aluminium foil and they exposed the stem of the plant to sunlight, they have seen that the stem of the plant showed characteristic bending like this. Okay, why was this happening? Why did the plant bend? Okay, so we can tell from this experiment that the sunlight is an external stimulus given. So as I have told you, what is the stimulus in plants? It can be sunlight, it can be light, okay, it can be water, it can be the humidity, it can be the temperature, it can be gravity also. So all these influence the plant to show a response. So what is the stimulus here? The rays of the sun are falling on the stem. That is the stimulus. And what response did the plant show? It showed a characteristic response that it is bending away from the light. It is bending like this. So what was happening exactly in the stem that it has bent? So finally they both saw that the stem had the production of auxin, the very important phytohormone. So what happened when they have covered this plant with the foil? There was no reaction. There was no reaction in the stem because the auxin concentration was proper, but rather there was no stimulus given. But once the stimulus, sunlight was falling on the stem, the auxin concentration from the tip, okay, so they have placed like this. If this is the stem, it is growing like this, and this is the sun. So they have seen that the auxin concentration which was there like this, normally if the plant would grow, it would be like this, yes or no, this stem. So they have seen that the auxin concentration from the tip have come down, it has moved down of the stem. Okay, normally at the tip the auxin concentration will be there. So finally the auxin substance, that is the phytohormone, slowly moved down and finally it made a characteristic bending here. Okay, so they have seen that due to the auxins itself, the characteristic bending is seen in the plants, and the place where the auxin concentration is there, whenever the sunlight is falling, for example, if sunlight is falling on a straight stem which is growing like this, the auxins will be concentrated here and finally the stem will grow like this. Okay, but it showed a characteristic bending as I have told you. So what will happen? Whatever the auxin concentration is here, it is slowly moving down and the stem is getting bent. Okay, so from the top they have observed that the auxin moved down of the stem and finally the stem is bending. Okay, so here there was no proper here the proper auxin concentration was seen. The auxins finally, this is the bending, yes or no children? So they have seen that the auxin concentration on this part of the stem became more and finally it caused a characteristic bending. As I have told you, from here the auxins have moved. So here the concentration of auxin substance became more, okay, in the shaded part. So finally this region got concentrated with auxins and it showed a characteristic bending. So all this experiment conducted by Charles Darwin and Francis Darwin confirmed that for an external stimulus such as light, there will be a response and the response is bending of stem, that is phototrophism. What do you mean by phototrophism? The characteristic response shown by plants towards the intensity of light or sunlight. Are you clear till here? So Charles Darwin and Francis Darwin proved that auxins will be very important in showing a response. And how was it showing a response? By the production of auxins which is secreted in the stem and it is causing the stem to bend away from light. Are you clear children? Then in the year 1926, F.W. Wendt was one more scientist who had a doubt with the movements and the bending of this stem. He had conducted one more experiment. So what did he do? He had taken an agar block. Okay, agar block is nothing but a gel-like substance. Okay, it can be grown. If you take this agar block, you can grow various substances on it. Okay, finally he has taken an agar block and he has taken a oat seedling. Okay, oat seedling and a stem of it. Alright children, so finally what did he do? He has cut the tip of the stem, that is the coleoptile, and he has placed that on the agar block. Okay, so he has taken out this tip from here and he has placed it on agar block. And what did he do? He has taken the same and he has placed the agar block here on one side of the stem. So what did he do initially? He has taken an oat seedling which has a stem. He has cut the coleoptile region. He has put that part on the agar block, and he has taken the agar block and he has put it on the stem which was cut here. And finally he observed after one day, and this was placed for 24 hours in dark. Okay, so after one day which was placed in dark, the seedling, he has observed that the plant showed bending. Okay, this stem has bent like this. Means what? This stem had some chemical stimulus. Okay, in human beings we have an electrical stimulus, yes or no? The nerve signals or impulses are traveling in an electrical format in our CNS or PNS. But in plants, he has observed that when he has placed this agar block here, it showed a characteristic bending like this. It did not grow towards it. Means what? This agar block has stimulated the auxins, the substance which is secreted in the plants, and finally it had showed characteristic bending. And he had confirmed that in plants we have the chemical substances, the chemical stimulus will help in showing responses. So what did he confirm? F.W. Wendt confirmed that it was the chemical stimulus. It was the chemical stimulus which is shown by the plants which helped to show proper responses. So due to this chemical stimulus, the cells inside the stem were activated, and finally there was a characteristic bending away from this agar block. So he has placed this agar block on one tip, on one side of the tip, and he has seen that away from it the stem has grown. So the chemical stimulus influences the growth and to show responses in plants. So auxin is a very important phytohormone which will be concentrated in the stem, and due to this auxins itself we can see the plants bend towards light. Okay, whenever they bend towards light, you should know that bending part, so if the plant is bending like this towards light, you should know that this bending is due to auxins, and finally the auxin concentration in this bent part is more. That is why it has got a curved nature, and finally it is growing towards there. So auxins, wherever they are concentrated, it will help in growth of a plant. So we have seen from all these experiments that there will be stimulus given to a plant, external stimulus such as sunlight, and finally we get a response. That is the first thing we have understood. And second thing, we have understood that auxins play a very important role in showing phototrophism in plants. Phototrophism is nothing but the response of plant body towards the sunlight. That is nothing but external stimulus. And who were the two important scientists? Charles Darwin and Francis Darwin, and F.W. Wendt. F.W. Wendt showed that the chemical stimulus is helping the plant to react to such stimuluses. Are you clear, students? So today we have started the coordination in plants, chemical coordination in plants. We have seen the phytohormones help the plant to show responses and also growth in plants. So the homework for today is read the textbook very clearly, because this is a very important topic. Write down what are the different kinds of hormones, phytohormones produced in plants along with their functions. Go through the tabular column given in your textbooks. Until then, thank you.